Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. And what a show today. I've been able to book the person that I call the king of messaging. That's right. The king of messaging is on the show with us today, Mr. Allan Levy. And Allan is the chief executive officer of a company you've probably heard of called Alchemy Worx. They're doing amazing work with messaging. We're going to get into it, and we're going to talk about what they mean by messaging. But Allan, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Andy, thank you so much for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
This is absolutely awesome. I've been waiting to get you on the show for a number of weeks. Alchemy Worx is doing such great work in the messaging space with small to medium-sized businesses and, of course, enterprise customers as well. Let's pull the lens back, Allan, just a little bit, and let's talk about what Alchemy Worx is all about.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So we're a push messaging agency, and push means SMS, outbound Facebook, and most importantly, we got our roots, and we still do the majority of our business. It's in email marketing messaging, all around retention. So helping our clients generate more revenue from their existing customers, and a bit of it about converting people who sign up for their lists into customers and loyal customers ultimately.
You see, this is so important, and emails are still the 800-pound gorilla in the world for business. As we all know, a lot of people have thought that maybe it's gone by the wayside, but it's exactly the opposite. And that's why Alchemy Worx is right in the middle of it all, using a data or data-driven sort of system to help your customers. So let's talk about that a little bit. How do you use data to make sure that your customers get the right messages to the people they want to get those messages to?
Yep. So that's a perfect question, Andy, because data is at the heart and the core of everything we do. We start off working with the data analysis and looking at the different types of customers. So first of all, there's within any file, there are customers and non-customers, people who sign up for information and others who have made purchases. But then there's a lot of information about the customer themselves. Have they bought multiple times? Have they bought recently? Have they engaged recently? And have they bought frequently and engaged recently or not engaged recently? So there's all sorts of dimensional slices to the data. And when you take those, you start to look at what have they done historically, what gets to what motivates people to take certain actions. And then you overlay frequency, message, cadence, all of that onto it. And so each individual slice, somebody who's purchased multiple times and visited the site recently is going to get a different sequence and messaging than somebody who has been inactive for a while and purchased years ago. And so that's what we do. We look at all of that. And then there's one very, very important piece to all of this, and that's testing. A fundamental mantra of ours is that testing begins evolutionary and becomes I got it backwards. Begins revolutionary and becomes evolutionary. So it's something that you try, but all of a sudden it needs to become part of the DNA of your marketing program. So the data shows you something, and then you constantly test to improve and get stronger.
See, I love this. And there's simply no better way to reach customers in a way that drives revenue than through the right messaging at the right time, which is Alchemy Worx's expertise. So let's talk about that just a little bit, because a lot of people think it's, I send out a message to somebody and it's sort of a hit or miss, and maybe I'll try a different message without any metrics or data behind it. But with your system, you actually provide the right data so that your customers get the right message at the right time to the right customer. Isn't that the way it works?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we launched in 2020. We launched our audience management system. And our audience management system is something that is pretty innovative, right? So there are all sorts of systems to reactivate people in your file and keep them active. But our audience management system scores the people in your inactive file, identifies who should best be activated, and brings back a 10x return. So you may have a file of, let's say 10 million people in your database, or maybe you're smaller and you've only got 1 million people in your database, right? But 60-70% haven't engaged in a long time. So now you're looking at 60% of your file that hasn't engaged. And yeah, you could send them a message here and there and try to activate them. But if you can pinpoint the right group within there to activate, and they go from being worth $1 to being worth $10 just because they've opened an email, that's huge. So we've developed an audience management system that helps to both bring them into the active file, and then the second part, and this is really where we supercharge personalization, right? You're in the active file. Now that's probably where most companies are seeing 70% of their revenue, if not more. It's from their active or engaged marketing file. But what happens after a certain period of time? You're going to slip out. You're going to stop opening emails. You're going to stop responding to SMS. You're going to stop visiting the website. When is that going to happen? Well, it's going to happen differently for all different types of people. You've signed up and never purchased. It's going to happen a little quicker. You've purchased once. It's going to happen a little slower than the person who's never purchased. You've been a loyal fan of this company. Well, you're probably going to stay in that file a little bit longer than others. And how do we address that messaging, segment out those people, and really supercharge the personalization to make sure that not only are we adding into the active file on the top at a very, very heavy rate, but we've shut off or almost shut off the leak at the bottom. And that's all about audience management.
See, Allan, I love this. And personally, if I engage with a company and I want either a product or a service from that company, and I buy a product or service from that company, or even if I just inquired about it, I don't mind getting follow-up messages if they're right, if they're bringing me some value, if there's something in that message that's going to tweak my interest or make me think a different way about that product or service in a powerful, positive way, I don't mind getting those types of messages. And I think for the most part, Alchemy has really been able to build its reputation on making sure that the right message gets to the right customer at the right time. And I really love this idea. Let's talk about small to medium-sized companies right now, Allan, because a lot of small to medium-sized entrepreneurs are watching the show. They probably have a database and they're saying to themselves, wow, I'm listening to the king of messaging, Mr. Allan Levy here, and he's told me some statistics that are just outstanding. So how do they reach out, and what's the process? Do you look at their data? Do you have people that sort of machinate what they're doing and then tell them a better way to do it and put them on a program? How does it all work?
So we have a very, very easy process, and it's a simple one. We offer a free deep dive analysis for any client. We'll come in, we'll do the free deep dive analysis, and we will hand them, literally walk them through it, and we will hand them the keys. We will hand them the solution, a custom tailored solution. So that means we look at their activity, we look at their engagement, we look at what they're doing right and what they're doing, what they could be doing right and what the opportunities are. And then we match up through all of our historical knowledge how much more money they could be making from their file if they do the right marketing and the right and run the right process. And we match it up line by line. So it's not just, hey, you've got a $10 million business with a $2 million email program. It could be a $4 million email program if you do these things. No, it's if you do this, you'll generate $150,000 more. If you do this, you'll generate $500,000 more. If you do this, line by line, and then we hand it to them and we say, if you want to, go ahead and do this on your own. And if you want to come in, we'll run the program for 4 months as a partner, because there is no hand over the keys. We come in and we become a partner to their marketing team. We pick up the work, the repetitive tasks of building weekly campaigns and daily campaigns that they normally would. We pick that up. We've got a huge team offshore that engages in that, and that team engages in U.S. hours. So there's no miscommunication. They're exposed. They're going to get 7 people working on their account. So small mid-sized business at best has 1 person or 2 people in the email marketing department. Now they've got 7. And they're all now reporting into their 1 person. Their 1 person gets to do all the strategy and bigger, deeper thinking that they wanted to, and we do all the work and the heavy lifting for them. And as a partner, we open the kimono, we show them everything, and we help them build the program. So the process is free analysis. You like what you see in the analysis? We tell you exactly line by line what you can do. You sign up. You like it. You sign up for a 4-month paid trial. You get to see. We tell you exactly what we're going to do week by week, month by month. So there's no surprises at the end of the 4 months. We held ourselves accountable to everything. And at the end of the 4 months, we're going to sit here and try to convince you to sign a 1-year contract. So we're going to do our darndest to make sure we deliver 120% on what we promise.
See, Allan, that's unbelievable. I love what I'm hearing. And so many people watching the show are going to be saying to themselves, wow, this is a no-brainer. I mean, here we have, one of the leading companies, Alchemy Worx, offering an opportunity to take a look at my data and tell me exactly line by line how I can improve my messaging to improve my return on investment or my ROI. So I think that's really amazing. What we think about is that this is really future-proofing a messaging strategy for a company. And it's backed by complete data that you at Alchemy have, in-depth analytics that your team has the ability to kind of put into play. And then they get an experienced team who really understands the entire picture of what's going on within their organization. So that is really, really awesome. So it's sort of better data, better revenue, increase ROI for all your customers. And it seems like it's a no-brainer offer that you're offering them. So congratulations on that value proposition.
Thank you very much. It's been working extremely well for us. We've seen double-digit growth year over year, and the most important thing to me is that we're delivering results that our customers can appreciate, and I can read that in a very, very simple number. It's our own retention rate. 90% of our clients that had started a contract with us in 2020 renewed a contract in 2021. So, an understanding, we went through a pandemic. We had clients in areas that, were in travel and entertainment that we lost. So that 10% of loss comes from, that 90% retention rate comes through a pandemic, I should say. And we have clients that we started with, and I say clients with a capital C and a capital S. So many or several of them in 2009, 2010, 2011 that are still clients today. So you don't get that by accident. You get that by delivering results and delivering results at the right price.
No, absolutely. And a 90% retention rate for any business is over the top, let alone an agency business. So that's really, really outstanding, probably at the higher of the levels of the companies throughout the world that have that type of retention rate. Allan, let me ask you a question. If I'm an entrepreneur and I'm watching the show and I've got a small to medium-sized business and I'm saying to myself, well, who handles all the messaging? Who handles it all? Does my team handle it? Does Allan's team handle it? Is there some type of integration between our system? How does all that work for the people that want more understanding of how this system works?
So we'll start. Certainly, we'll use your existing technology platform, whatever email service provider you're on. we'll continue to use them. If there's a reason that you need to make a switch, if they're not delivering or if they don't have the products and services necessary to take you to the next level, we'll make the introductions and the options for you. We'll at least give you 2, if not 3 options to choose from, and give you the value proposition between those options. So we're agnostic to platform. We work with over 25 different ESPs and consumer data platform CDPs. So we will come in, we will look at your history, we will make recommendations to your marketing calendar. Once we sign off collectively, you sign off, we sign off on a marketing calendar, we will then create the creative briefs that go along with it. If you have an existing design team, we'll work with them and these creative briefs, they'll execute on that. If your design team is swamped, like most companies are, we have a full staff of designers, copywriters, management. We do design for about 40% of our clients right now, so we can go both ways. We will always do the iterations and the variations on design. So if your design team does an initial creative, we'll come back and change the CTA call to action button, move it around, do all the secondary and tertiary variations in order to do the testing. Your team will approve it. So this is integrated. They will see everything before it gets built. There will be an approval on that. We go in, we build it, we pull the segments, we share that back. Your team has sign off on that. So there's no surprises at all. We deploy the campaign on a weekly basis. We come back, we report back on what was our goal for the week. Based on the initial analysis, we said we would give you delivery. What was our goal for the week? Did we achieve our goal? What was our testing for the week? What was the learning from that testing? And what are we taking forward? So it's not only, what are we doing, right? It's why are we doing it? What did we learn from it? And what's next? And we will deliver all of that on a weekly basis, roll it up on a monthly basis and give you a little bit of a deeper analysis. And then every quarter we do quarterly business review. And then of course an annual business review, taking a little bit of a long-term, and at each and every step, you're our partner. We're integrated. We're part of your marketing team. We're reporting into you. We're reporting into the CEO of the company or the director of marketing or the CMO or whoever's in charge. And we're taking the lead from them, but we're giving them guidance, marketing best practices, and learning from across our 120 brands that we actively work with.
Allan, I love this. This is so comprehensive and so detailed, and obviously this is something that all companies need to take a look at to increase their return on investment or their ROI. You mentioned something interesting. You mentioned the call to action. When we think about messaging and the types of companies that you work with, Allan, what's the typical call to action? Is it to buy a product or service, or is it to get more information, or is it to just get a message back so that then you can sort of take them along a different type of a sales cycle? Is there one call to action that seems to be the king of all call to actions right now?
So you gave me a softball question, Andy. I have to be honest with you. You gave me a very softball question, right? Because it's very easy to tell you what the winner of a test will be. And the winner of a test is testing. So the winner is not, there is no one winner, right? The winner is always that we have to test. Is there a call to action? Well, if you're running a big promotion and a big sale, we'll test, buy now versus save now versus last chance as this call to action button, and we'll see what works. If you're running, when I say everything gets tested, it gets tested. Let's say you want to run a sale and you've got a 25% discount you want to offer your customer. So should you offer 25% off, or should you offer buy one, get one free? I don't know. It may be that initially buy one, get one free works, and it works for the next 2 months each time we run that sale, but it gets tired. So by the 4th month, we end up testing again, and 25% off gets exciting. Should it be, what if you're running 50 off? Should it be, buy one, I'm sorry, the other was buy one, get one 50 off for 25 off. But now should it be half price sale, 50 off, or buy one, get one free? So there's always, you've got to just constantly test. You've got to test everything, never be afraid to test everything. Take the winner of the last test and test against it, and constantly beat the control. And that is why why our customers are so loyal to us, because most agencies would come in, give them a package, and then they'd go on their merry way, and they'd say, okay, great, I learned, half price sale wins, and they continue to run half price sale. And after 6 months, a year and a half, the returns start to diminish. And they don't know why. They said, it used to work at half price. Do I have to go to 60 off? But you didn't have to go to 60 off. All you had to do was change it to buy one, get one free. It was just the language change there. But I'll give you something that's a little more complex, and something that shows you that testing isn't one dimensional. We had a client that in apparel, in promotional apparel, your Gaps and your J. Crews of the world, 40 off is the go-to sale. Every 4 to 6 weeks, they run 40 off. The consumer's already programmed that that's what they're going to wait for. Unless they need something, a t-shirt, a turtleneck, they're going to wait for that big 40 off sale to stock up. So this client is competing in that marketplace and wanted to break the shackles, right? They wanted to get away from the 40 off. They wanted to retrain their customers on lower discount. And so before they did, being a loyal customer of ours, they trusted us. They let us run some testing, and we tested different groups. So we tested their loyal customers. We tested their customers who hadn't yet hit the loyalty mark, so 1 or 2 time buyers who hadn't been repeat purchase, and we tested their non-buyers. What we found was that on their most loyal customers, they could go as low as 25 off and still get the purchases at almost the same purchase rate. On their one-time buyers who hadn't been loyal yet, and on their non-buyers, they could actually go to 45 off and significantly increase their sales. As a matter of fact, what happened was, with their one-time buyers and non-buyers, the lower discount rate actually led to lower gross margin percentage, not dollars. So now understand this, right? You'd think that at 25 off, I'm selling a product for 10, and now I'm selling it for $7.50. Right? My gross margin percentage should be higher than when I'm selling that $10 product for $5. Right? But what we learned was that these non-buyers and one-time buyers, because they weren't loyal to the brand, instead of buying regular product when the discount was shrunk to a smaller number, were going into the clearance section and buying stuff that was 90 off and hurting their margins. So in order to get these new customers or just customers that hadn't yet hit the loyalty threshold to buy, it was actually better to give them a deeper discount. Once we got them into the loyalty place, then you could give them a lower discount. And 70% of the sales were coming from the loyal buyers anyway. So I'm only going to take a small group, and I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers in and out of here, right? But I'm only going to give a bigger discount to a smaller group of people until they get into my bigger bucket where they're more important, and then they get a smaller discount. At the end of the day, it was margin accretive, more profitable for the company to split the discounts between buyers, give a deeper discount than they were historically to the people who weren't buying as often, and give a lesser discount to their most loyal. But that doesn't work for the kids. Don't try this at home. That doesn't work for everybody. You must test it. Every brand is different. Every instance is different. You must test it. But at the end of the day, this led to millions of dollars for this client in gross profit win, and more customers into their loyal file.
Wow, Alan, I love it. And this is why Alchemy Worx is the leader in the field. And the reason I call Alan the king of messaging. When you hire Alchemy Worx, you get that brain that we just heard behind the scenes with working with his team, making sure that your messaging is right. Every single company has their customers that probably have a little bit different psychographic or demographic profile that need to be hit with different messaging all the time and have to be tested to make sure that things work. And small percentage points of improvement make a big deal for companies. And that's one of the things that the data and the analytics with Alchemy Worx can help a company with. Alan, I know you're very passionate about your culture and what you're able to do at Alchemy Worx. And I know that you've only cut out a certain amount of time for me today, and I really appreciate it. But I just wanted to touch on that just a little bit. What is it about Alchemy Worx with the culture you've been able to put together that makes it such a great place for people to work and such a great place for your people to help your clients?
I'm very proud of this, and I'm so glad you asked that, Andy. The team really works as a team. When you put 7 or 8 people working together on a client, if something's going a little slower than it should be, it's very easy for somebody to point a finger at the other person and say, I did my job, but they didn't do their job. It never happens with us. It really never happens with us. We have a very integrated team. Everybody works together and makes sure that things flow properly. When we take on, when COVID hit, and this is really something that resonated a lot with me. When COVID hit initially in March, and we all went into lockdown, we went into triage mode. We had daily stand-up calls, and everybody was on it. We split the team into 3 parts. One group was triage anything that needed to be done, any clients we thought were going to be at risk, or that was one. Number 2 was a group that looked at any opportunities, any clients that were figuring it out really quickly. What could we learn from them and share it with the rest of the group? And then finally, the last group was looking down the road, 6 months down the road, what do we do? And we came together and we met on a daily basis. After a month, we got rid of the triage group, we integrated them into the other groups, and then we separated out the meetings. But the team came together so tightly and helped our clients so much. And we got appreciation calls from our clients. It was the style. And then we decided as a group that we were going to do something outward. And so we took on several nonprofits, and we with the challenges in the country at the time in May, and we decided that we would take on inner city nonprofits and do some work for them. And almost everybody in the company signed up and said, we want to help. What can we do? Can we volunteer? We'll volunteer as giving seminars. We'll volunteer teaching coding. We'll volunteer whatever our skill set is. We'll volunteer. We made our donations, but more importantly, as a team, we're donating our time and our effort. And it was a collective. It's just the way the company operates. We work as a collective together to help each other to grow, and that's a big piece of this. And that's one last thing I'd like to lean into is our ability to continually innovate. While our innovation last year was on audience management across the push channel, the email channel, and the SMS channel, our innovation for this year is cross-channel innovation. And this came to me as an idea from somebody within the team who said, you know what? We're sending messages out in this channel, we're sending messages out in this channel, or we're managing cadence in each channel, but shouldn't we be managing cadence in all channels together? And so our innovation this year is identifying within our customer segments who should get 3 SMS messages a week, who should get 3 a month. And that person that gets 3 a month may get more email messages. And that person that gets, less of both may get more Facebook or WhatsApp messaging, or some Snapchat messaging, or somewhere else. And that's what we're focused on for this year, innovating across all marketing channels, not just within a singular channel. So all of that comes because we have a culture that allows for innovation.
Allan, I love it. And obviously this culture can be seen in the 90% retention rate of your customers, because your customers, they want to be felt like they deserve to be working with the best, and they deserve to be able to receive great communication from a team. And that's what you do with your agency, is that your entire team, because they feel empowered from you, from the top, they're able to empower your clients, and that shows through very, very well. So Allan, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show. I think we've covered a lot today. Certainly anyone watching this is going to want to reach out to you, especially with this free analysis of what they can do to increase their return on investment. It's just an incredible offering that you have, a unique selling proposition for your agency versus any other agency that's out there, Allan. So let the people know who are watching how to contact you or your team so that they can get started to understand how they can improve their return on investment with Alchemy Worx. So
you can go to our website, alchemyworx.com, and sign up for the free analysis, or email me personally, Allan, ALLAN, at alchemyworx.com, WORX, ALCHEMYWORX.com. Either one, and we will be happy to help take a look at your program and give you our free analysis and tell you how you can generate 70, 80, 90, or even 200 and 300% more revenue from your marketing program.
Allan, this is unbelievable. When I was able to book you on the show, I knew it would be exactly like this. Anyone needs to reach out to Alchemy Worx. What a great show. What a great business you've been able to build. Thanks so much, Allan, for coming on the show today.
Oh, Andy, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.